Burma has always fascinated me for so many reasons. A land of magnificent temples and sculpture, adorned everywhere in shining gold. A rich culture of devout Buddhists with exceptionally well-preserved customs and traditions. A culture that is relatively uncorrupted by the spread of globalization that is changing the rest of Southeast Asia so fast and thereby eroding much of its identity. But Burma is also a land of contrast. Ruled by a military junta since 1962, the gentle people of Burma are governed with unfeeling indifference, and their peaceful cries for democracy are met with brutal suppression. The flow of information into and out of the country is highly restricted. It is very difficult to get a clear picture of what is going on at any one time. The information that reaches us is usually in respect of atrocities committed by the military, or of the repeated imprisonment of democracy campaigner Aung San Suu Kyi. But is this all there is to Burma? Is it really just a land of suffering, repression, and fear? Are the people only worthy of our sympathy, living as they do in a backward and impoverished nation? Or could there in fact be much that we could learn from them? Much that they could teach us about community and endurance of hardship. Perhaps even by their example, we ourselves could see a better way to live. Life in Burma is hard for the majority of people. Although the land is abundant in natural resources, vast areas are without a reliable supply of water and electricity. Most people get no support from the government. There are no benefits for the elderly, the sick, or those unable to work. More than 70% of the population live a tough, rural life, where self-sufficiency is the only option they have. The ruling class of this country are the military generals and their associates, who have become extremely wealthy by plundering Burma's natural endowments. They rule with absolute authority, dictating every aspect of people's lives as they see fit. In this they are guided by a paranoid and often superstitious fear of the people and of foreign interference. Past peaceful and non-violent demonstrations have been quelled with brutal ruthlessness. Under such harsh and unjust treatment, you might expect to find a bitter and hardened people. But the greatest paradox of this nation is that its people are among the kindest and most peaceful people to be found anywhere. Primarily, people's lives are guided by the teachings of the Buddha, which emphasize compassion for others and mastery of the self. This philosophy teaches people to focus on developing their own qualities rather than striving to shape their external environment. This attitude is more effective because we have complete control over our minds, whereas our control over our environment is always limited and subject to other forces. People in Burma know they cannot overthrow their military rulers, who would slaughter women and children before relinquishing power. But in the face of this opposition, people apply themselves to the areas of life that really matter, where they can make a difference. A strong sense of community permeates Burmese society. Neglected by their government, people rely on each other and the only dependable body of aid, the monks, who in turn rely on the people for their needs. Burma is a country unlike any other. Travellers here are richly rewarded with unforgettable sights and experiences, provided they can endure the travel itself. Following decades of government neglect, the infrastructure is in an appalling state. A few miles outside the cities, tarmac roads disappear, replaced first by sand and then by rubble, reducing speed of progress to about 10 miles an hour. This has the effect of turning a 250-mile journey from perhaps 6 hours into an arduous 18-hour drive. It's uncomfortable, it's tedious, and it's not for the faint-hearted. And in case you're wondering, this is not an earthquake. But for those willing to put up with this, the magic of Burma is more than worth it. Today we're in Paya, a remarkable place often dubbed the world's largest book. And around me, 729 of these white stupas, inside which is housed a single marble slab on which is inscribed the Buddhist teaching, or the Dharma. Each slab is double-sided, and the language is Pali, the ancient language of India, also used in Burma. It has been estimated that one person reading continuously for 8 hours would take 450 days to read the entire book.
Samya